Hi everybody, it's Handy Sandy, coming to you once again from the subterranean craft room. Today, I'm going to show you how to make this valance, which covers, wait for it, here's the valance, and it's covering one of these. Made for a trip to Joann's, Hobby Lobby. Here's some of the supplies we'll be using. I've got this really nice, luxurious, it's kind of a gold and black metallic fabric. You know, it reminds me of some throwback retro fabric, but it's a modern take on it. And we got 3 yards because we're going to be covering one long valance and one shorter valance. I also picked up some of this decorative edging here. You'll see what I'll be doing with that. And remember, with every project, you need the right type of thread. Ooh, matching colors. And what we have here is the accent color. And what I'm going to be doing is sewing a strip of this. And this is going to be the accent color. It's going to be a panel in the middle of the valance. And then it's going to be trimmed by this black stuff. So, ooh, it's going to be exciting. Ooh, it's going to be neat to watch. Ooh, I hope it's not a disaster. And here we go. All right, this is the basic idea that I have here for covering this older, what do you call it? Vertical blind valance. You know, this is the valance that sometimes you order with the vertical blinds that covers the top rail and the mechanism. What I'm going to do is sew this fabric valance to cover it, and the best way that I came up with, and the client didn't want me drilling into her walls and using anchors because she has old plaster walls, I'm going to retrofit this valance with a fabric valance to cover it. And the best that I can figure out to attach this is using these clips here. And of course these raw edges will be hemmed. This is not the fabric that I'm going to be using. This is just kind of a mock-up. So the first step I'm going to be doing is, I've got this decorator fabric here that's 54 inches in length. I'm going to cut 5 panels or 5 strips that are 54 inches long by 20. And 3 of the strips will accommodate the long valance I'm making, and 2 of the strips will accommodate the short valance I'm making. So this is what I have so far, and actually I made a mistake. I forgot to measure the fabric before I bought it. This particular fabric I thought was 54 inches. I think it's 57 or 58 wide. But anyway, I've got plenty of fabric, so it's better to have too much than not enough. So what I did for the larger valance, I've cut 3 strips that are, I think they're 58 wide by 20 inches long. And I've hemmed the side, hemmed the bottom, and I sewed 3 strips together. And this is what's going to make the long valance. And I iron them, and I press the seams open where I sewed the 3 pieces together. This is the accent strip that's going to be sewn on the middle of that fabric that I just showed you. And this is, I believe this is 58 inches this way, 57 or 58 inches that way, and 10 inches long. And I'm going to cut 5 strips of these, and then I'm going to hem the sides and sew them together, and then I'm going to stitch them on top of the long fabric. Oh, hang on, you'll see. And this is going to be the accent fabric here, and I've made it in a roll. And what I'm going to do, we're going to make a border here, and I think I'm going to have it 3 inches, maybe 2.5 inches from the bottom and the top. And I'm going to pin it along here. And I'm going to sew along the top and the bottom and keep sewing till I've completed all 135 inches. I'm trying to make sure that I sew the accent panel an even distance from the bottom of the valance here. and I found this sewing tool. It's a type of ruler with like a slide thing. So I set it to 2 1/4 inches, and what I'm doing is lining it up at the bottom and making sure that the bottom of this fabric is 2 1/4 inches. And then I'm going to pin the bottom and then the top, and hopefully nothing will shift when I'm sewing. So I've finished attaching the top and the bottom of the decorative fabric to the valance panel. And what I'm going to do now is add this decorative trim. It's like a black roping kind of zigzag thing. And be sure that when you attach this that you fold over the end and then stitch on top of that fold, otherwise it'll come unraveled. So I think the best thing to do is pin it here and continue along, and I'm going to do the decorative trim on the top and the bottom. And I've taken it off the plastic holder that it came with and kind of coiled it into this little ball here to make it easier to unravel as I sew. Here we have the finished product. Da, 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 da. This is the first time I've ever worked with a decorative trim, and I've come to realize 2 things. It looks really pretty on the finished project, number 1, and then number 2, oh, the sewing machine hates it, and it's really hard to work with, but I guess it's worth it in the end because it did turn out a nice crisp tailored look. Here we have the finished product. Woohoo! I'm so glad that I'm done. And I learned a lot from it. I've never worked with this trim before. I learned how to do that. So this is the smaller valance. I made 2. I made a large one that was 135 inches, and this little guy is 75 inches. I cut my fabric. The original fabric came, I want to say it was 57 inches, 58 inches on the bolt. I cut it into 20-inch lengths. I hemmed the bottoms, I hemmed the sides, and I stitched the length together, enough panels for this particular one to make up 75 inches. I did this decorative border here, and how I did that, I cut 10 inches of decorative fabric. I used this foam board here. I turned the fabric upside down and pulled the extra edges around the side. I kind of wrapped it around, but it didn't go completely around, and then I ironed it as I went. You know what, let me get a piece of scrap fabric and show you what I did. With the decorative fabric, I wasn't concerned with hemming the inside edges because once it's sewed down to the fabric here, you're never going to see that extra, the unfinished edges. So what I did, I cut a strip 10 inches long. I took this piece of foam, which is 8 inches, and I wrapped the fabric around and ironed it as I went and kept pulling it, and then ironed it as I went, and I finished this for the length of the fabric. And then I got sharp seams so I didn't have to pin it. Laid this down on the valance fabric, and that's the part where I told you with the metal slide ruler I measured 2 1/4 inches from the bottom here, and then pinned the heck out of it. I pinned it on the bottom, I pinned it on the top, I pinned it on the middle, and then did a seam down here and a seam up there. After both seams were done on the sewing machine, that's when I came back and did this decorative edge. So now I'm going to show you how to attach this new fabric to an old valance. This is the plastic valance that I keep talking about that was ordered when my customer ordered her vertical blinds. It just fits over the blind hardware and covers the track where they slide across. But as you can see, it's kind of outdated. It's got the gold trim. What I'm doing now is using these sewing clips. Here's the finished valance right here. Yay! Oh, it looks so good. I've got it clipped to the top with those binder clips that I told you about, and it wraps around, and I think it turned out pretty nice. So I can't wait to see how it looks in her house, and I think she's going to be very happy with it. A few more adjustments will be made once we get it up in her house. There we go. Another project done. Another video uploaded. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for subscribing. This is Handy Sandy signing off from the Subterranean Craft Room. Have a great day. Why did it just get darker? Look at how great that looks.